far, and he, based on his second fastest lap time, he may be pole for the race coming up later on today. So wait to see how long it can take for the awesome recovery here, the awesome recovery team here at Teretonga Park. They can get that car. Looks to be down at turn 1, down at the southern loop there. The car is currently immobilised. Hopefully we can go back to green flag conditions and finish. Actually, it looks like I think we may have ended the session there. Yeah, the cars are heading back, so that's session over for the Bridgestone GT NZ Championship. So AJ Gideon, the number 10 car, Open Contractor's car, he takes the pole position for the feature race tomorrow afternoon with a 1 minute 12.6, and he had a 0.67 margin over Chris White there in the 88 car. Zach Blinko there in third in the 90, continuing great consistent form for him in his championship charge. Arthur Bourne there in fourth, Matt Templeton in fifth, Simon Hunter in sixth. Our reigning champion Gilles Owen, he's there in seventh. He won't be particularly happy with that, I'm sure. I'm sure he was hoping to be a little bit further up. Justin Allen there in eighth, Cooper Barnes in ninth, and Lee Zalswanger, our reigning Tropy Series champion there in coming up. CTFROT qualifying, not too far away, live here at Teretonga.
We are in the second half of Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy, and we are racing this weekend about as far south as you can race anywhere in the world. Welcome to Teretonga. We're not far from Invercargill in Southlands, right at the bottom end of the South Island of beautiful New Zealand. It's a stunning part of the world. The drive down south is incredible. The flight as well. There's so much to see and do in this part of the world. And a fantastic little racetrack as well in a city with an enormous amount of motorsport heritage. This is the racetrack. It is one of the fastest circuits in the Southern Hemisphere. Just over 2.5 kilometres long, 7 corners. They are flat out for a long way around here. And in dry conditions, you're lapping in 53 seconds. In the rain, however, it might be a little bit longer. And they are the conditions that greet us this morning. Good morning, wherever you might be watching here at the circuit in New Zealand, in Australia, or around the world. Welcome to the Repco NextGen NZ Championship and to Teretonga Park for the Ascot Park Hotel International this weekend. Richard Craill and Andrew Waite with you for a full wet qualifying session for the third round of CTFROT. Good morning, Andrew. This is one where we've just chucked all the balls in the air and we're going to see where they land over the next 15 minutes because it's wet, it's wild, and it's massively unpredictable.
Good morning, Richard. And that shot right there sums up just what these conditions are like down here at Teretonga. And we have had one wet session so far this weekend. Obviously, we had 2 days of testing on Thursday, and then yesterday as well, they had another 3 sessions. So all of them have been dry, bar the first session yesterday. So they've had a bit of a chance to run around in the rain, but it was drying at the same time. So nowhere near as wet as what they're experiencing now. And a bit of a form guide around that. Freddie Slater was fastest in that session, but it's a very, very rough sort of form guide. But if you look back to the last round at Topor, they had one wet session there, and Evan David was very quick in that one session and then ended up towards the front as well. So it sort of gives you a fair idea of what's about to unfold here. Rusty.
Good morning, boys. Just in the dumping grid area as they release the cars. We'll come to you for commentary shortly. And I've had a word to the crew that work on Ryan Wood's car. Now, he probably came out of Friday feeling a little flat relative to his form last weekend in Topor. But they're saying they didn't really get some good, clear running yesterday. This track is so compressed, the laps are so fast, they were finding themselves in traffic at times and not able to nail a really good lap. Let's not forget, he was good in wet conditions in Topor in a supercar. Let's hope this is a good session for Ryan Wood.
Greg Rust down in pit lane, which may be busy in this 15-minute session. And there is Ryan, who won 2 of the 4 races last weekend at Topor, including the Denny Hole Memorial Trophy, in a fairly emotional and passionate victory celebration for one of the biggest race wins of his brief career so far. This is qualifying number 1. It sets the grid for race 1 a little later on this afternoon. The race 2 grid is a reverse top 8 of the race 1 finishing order. The race 3 grid is the fastest laps from today's 2 races. The race 4 grid, the feature race, the Spirit of Nations Trophy this weekend, is decided by qualifying 2 tomorrow morning. What it means is massively unpredictable results across the weekend. Andrew, 3 drivers I should say, have been on pole position in the 4 qualifying sessions so far. Hugo Kachukwu, the championship leader, has 2 pole positions. Ryan Wood has 1 pole position last weekend, and there's a spin for Theo McLaughlin, the Irishman, who should be adept in these conditions from that part of the world, and just gets out in front of Ryan Wood. And the big surprise last time out at Topor was young Aussie Jack Taylor from absolutely nowhere, qualifying on pole position for the feature race. So it's been unpredictable, and it already is at the early stages of qualifying.
It's not a great way to get your session started, but yeah, he's lucky he lost it where he did, because around here at Teretonga, it's a very, very fast circuit, as we were saying. So you get off on the grass anywhere, you're lucky to not find a wall somewhere. So it's certainly a very, very tough track. As you can see, drivers exploring different race lines. There's a lot of camber on some of these corners as well, especially that second to last corner that we just went through there. And then there's an all-important last corner as well. This one's a very, very important corner with such a massive long straight. You're on the straight for about 15 seconds, so really, really important to get the drive off there. Rusty.
plumes of water coming from the rear wing of these cars are spectacular as they come down the main straight here. I've just had a word to some of the great team from Toyota Gazoo Racing New Zealand. Before we came on air here, we had qualifying for the 86 class. It is definitely worse than that. And Stephen Giles just said to me as I walked past him, lottery, total lottery.
He knows a bit about that. The team boss at Giles Motorsport, who with Jack Taylor got that pole position last time out at Topor. So the wet weather conditions, as the number 50 car we're just talking about has a little recovery there just in front of Evan David, the Sri Lankan. And Jin Nakamura just in behind for High-Tech, who was rapid yesterday. The High-Tech cars were really quick in the dry, and red flag is out, and it's Nolan Alla, the second of the Giles drivers, who are off the road in the Martini number 52 car. Say that if you want to understand aero, watch a Wings and Slicks car in the rain, because it is a visual representation of what the air is doing to these cars over the front wing, using the under tray and the underfloor of these cars, and then that rear wing that generates all that rear downforce.
And then you throw on the amount of wind that's around the track as well. It certainly makes it very, very turbulent. So, yeah, very tough session for these guys as the first red flag comes out. It's an easy corner to do it as well down into turn one. It was very, very fast on the way into there. So what the driver's trying to do is they're trying to carry as much speed as they can, and they're obviously braking on entry into there at the same time as they're using their brake. All the load's going to the front of the car, so the rear starts getting very loose on the way in. And at the same time as it's loose, you're trying to clear the brake to roll the speed, flatten the car out a little bit. So there's just so much going on in there, and obviously with these wet conditions, as Stephen Giles pointed out, lottery, that's what he's talking about, because there's so many different elements of what's going on, and you know, you throw puddles in there, and as a driver, you're constantly exploring the whole time with these conditions.
Nolan Alla, the American for Giles, just climbed into the top 10 in the championship following our last round at Topor a week ago. He had a solid, consistent weekend there. He's had a best finish of 7th in the championship so far and qualified 6th for the feature race at Hampton Downs at the opening round of the championship. There's Jin Nakamura, who is currently quickest at a 105.1.
So Jenny's obviously got the umbrella over him at the moment, stopping him from getting wet. So believe it or not, this is actually the time as a driver you are going to get the most wet, even though you're completely exposed in the car to the elements as you're driving around. But because of the speed that you're carrying, it obviously will just go straight over the top of you. Yes, you end up with a little bit of moisture up and around your shoulders and around your Hans device, but you don't actually come out of the car soaking wet, even though you are exposed to the elements. It's yeah, as you're sitting there, it's certainly important to have an umbrella over you to keep you nice and protected. And obviously with that as well, your visor can fog up, all sorts. So it's an important part. Rusty.
Andrew, as you know, even in these moments, the little details matter. So the Giles crew just said to the mechanics that work on Jack Taylor's car to bring it nice and close here so that he's one of the first cars out and has a good, clean run when we resume this here. Firstly, can you tell us what are those conditions like to drive in?
It's very tricky. It's, you know, even better than last week. It's yeah, the track's quite flooded in a lot of places, but yeah, it's just about, yeah, just it's kind of it's like a risk to reward, you know, how much you want to risk going into each corner, and yeah, when you don't know the conditions. But yeah, it's very tricky.
You're coming off the back of some really solid stuff last weekend. How are you feeling, and are you enjoying Teretonga?
Yeah, I like the track. It's, you know, it's a short track, but it's pretty cool. Love high speed corners. Yeah, I quite like it. Yeah.
Okay, final one for you. I mean, obviously we've had some running on Thursday, practice yesterday in dry conditions. How different is the car this morning, given what we've been greeted with here?
Yeah, it's quite different. We had a little bit of wet running on Friday morning, but it was nowhere near as wet as this. So, yeah, it's quite different. Just about going out there and trying to...
Really appreciate the insights. Thank you for talking to us at the moment too. Good on you. Jack Taylor there.
Thanks, Rusty. Hails from Launceston, top end of Tasmania, and actually his local track, which he's not actually raced at before, Symmons Plains, has a lot of similarities to Teretonga Park, which is a terrific, fast racetrack with lots of challenges. Nolan Alla's car being recovered by the recovery crew here at Topor, who, let's be honest, have had a fairly busy 24 hours, quite a few recoveries, even in the dry in practice yesterday. But this is going to be a fascinating session. That's the current weather conditions. So just a top of 14 degrees today. The wind, it's been gusting this morning up to 18 k's an hour today, but it's a tailwind as you head down the straight. So you're getting pushed from behind, and it means you're driving into the breeze when you come out of that very long turn 1 sweeper into turn 2 and then turn 3. But a tailwind can be a challenge, can't it, Andrew? Because you're getting that big push down towards turn 1. And then when you're in the middle of the corner where everyone's falling off down there, it's actually a side wind. So it's pushing against the car, trying to force you wide through the corner.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's the worst type of wind you can possibly have down there in turn 1, especially in these wetter conditions, as you said there, Richard. As you head down there, you've got that wind behind you. Yes, you've still got a lot of downforce pushing you along, but as you start turning the car in, yes, it's going to be that little bit lighter in the rear as you're trying to turn in. And just as you're sort of gathering it all back up, the wind then is on the side of the car, moving the car around a bit, and it's not till you actually start getting towards the exit of the corner as the wind's on front of you, as where you start feeling that gain. And these are the things drivers are thinking about, maybe not so much in the wet, but in the dry. They'll be looking at flags, looking at where the wind is going to be able to predict, right, okay, on the exit of turn 1, I'm going to have a headwind towards me, so maybe I can pick up the throttle just a touch earlier to use that as an advantage to get on the exit. Rusty?
Grateful to the team, Andrew, that work on Freddie Slater's car. They've just given us the okay to have a quick chat with him. Friday was good for you, but man, this is so different on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, we haven't had this much rain on Friday. Like, we had a little bit of rain, but not this much. So this is a lot of rain, and it's very hard to see, especially on such a short track like this. With 20 cars out there, it's very difficult, but good fun.
We're good fun. I'm glad that you can sort of give that perspective. Lots of people watching our coverage on YouTube around the world. Can you describe the lap around him? It's such a quick lap in the dry normally, but what about when it is as damp as it is right now?
Yeah, because it's such a short lap, there's a lot of traffic, so you just kind of got to get on with it, and also how cold it is. You can't be backing off because you lose too much time. So, and then driving around, it's aquaplaning, you can't see anything, and yeah, it's pretty lethal, but yeah, like I say, it's good fun at the end of the day.
Good on you. We think the recovery vehicle is nearly on its way, so you'll be resuming soon. There he is, Freddie Slater. Thank you.
Greg Russ, pit lane reporter and engineer as well, just letting him know that he's about to go as well. Yeah, it's going to be a long day at the office, I think, for Greg and Rihanna down in the lane for this weekend. While we wait for the recovery vehicle to come back in. Championship, so we're into the back half now. We've got less races to go than we've had so far. Ugo Ugachukwu has been the man of the season so far. He leads the series by 33 points over Kanato Lee, with Louis Sharp, the Kiwi, in third position. Jin Nakamura, Ryan Wood from outside the top 10 into the 5 after a massive weekend, which really shows how quickly it can change. And if you're leading the championship this weekend, there's a bit of peril among it, because if you have one bad weekend, it could change so quickly in CTFROT this season.
It certainly can. You've just got to be on your game the whole time, as we see them all filter straight out on the track as soon as they are released, and that is to, again, try to get that clear track position. It's so important to try and get as much clear track as you possibly can. And you want to be on the track for as long as you can as well, because you're just constantly exploring the whole time you're out there. And it doesn't really show you on this picture as well just how much. Oh, this is already, we've got Theon McLaughlin there. Look like he's had a bit of a spin on his outlap, so obviously a lot of standing water already. And that's the thing as well on top of it. So he's in the gravel, so we're going to go straight back to red here.
It's unfortunate for the Irishman in the high-tech car, Red Bull livery car. 2 Red Bull cars in the field run by different teams, with Ernesto Rivera, the young Mexican driver, the youngest driver in the field, the other one. So that's a shame for Theo McLaughlin, right at the same point where Nolan Alla found himself in. Not quite as deep, perhaps. Very big gravel traps here at Teretonga, and they're designed that way for a reason, because it's such a quick approach to turn 1 and such a fast corner. They need to catch errant race cars as they fire off. And let's have another look at this on our replay. Down towards turn 1 on the outlap, out of pit lane.
Yeah, so straight away you can actually see he's on the outside of the track there, so that's the dirtier part of the track out there. So he's just obviously gone exploring, and very quickly found that there is not a lot of grip on that part of the circuit. As it actually nearly goes off camber as you start getting towards the outside of the circuit there. And I'd say it's one of those things, in that moment on the outlap, you're thinking so much about the entire lap, what's going on, that you're not so focused on the moment because you're not fully up to speed. So you're not, thinking about, right, what's the car doing in this moment? You're thinking about, right, where do I need to position the car on exit? So as much as it's a shame for him to do that on the outlap, it's an easy thing that's done.
Just checked in with Motorsport New Zealand Race Control, and they're okay with the conditions as they stand, and they will monitor them continuously, and they'll take feedback from all of the experts, both driver standards chief Chris Pither, the well-known, very successful racing car driver who looks after all of the driving stuff in race control. There's some very smart people up there, and they'll be getting feedback from pit lane and the paddock and officials around the circuit. So they are okay with the conditions to continue to proceed with qualifying despite these red flags. Drivers just making little errors in conditions that they are very unfamiliar with so far in this year's Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. Theo McLaughlin will head back to pit lane. He'll take no further part in qualifying, and Rusty's back in the lane.
I thought we'd take this opportunity to have a word to Gary Ord from Kiwi Motorsport, who does some great things in the United States and was heavily involved with Formula Atlantic, of course, at Murph Race last weekend. These are tricky conditions, aren't they? What is the whole juggle like? Trying to manage pit exits so you can get some clear running on track, make sure that your driver is well positioned. That is such a juggle.
Oh, it's really tough. I mean, you just got to, as soon as it goes green, go, get out there, try and find a gap. But it's really hard. It's such a short lap. The spray off these cars is just huge. But it's the same for everybody. We just got to do the best we can.
When you come to the track, first thing early this morning as a crew, and you know that this is going to be the order of the day, what sort of things do you do to change the car relative to what you had on Friday?
We don't make too many changes. You might soften a little bit here and there, but you just got to wait and just see what it does, the weather, because it just changes here so quickly. I mean, we could be getting sunburnt this afternoon. You just don't know, do you?
Yeah. You enjoy this place as a rule. I mean, coming back, and such a classic, legendary venue, even though it's, we look at it now and we think, oh gosh, we just want to be inside. But in all seriousness, awesome place.
Oh, it is. It's a real cool place. I mean, I was brought up down here, so it has a bit of a sentimental thing to me. And actually, my uncle still holds the lap record here on the under 1300cc cars on the old circuit. Like, it can't be beat. So it's cool.
Awesome. Before we let you go, Tina's been nursing a little bit of an injury. Is she going okay?
Yeah, she's doing all right. I promise that I won't push her down the stairs anymore.
I think she's got a plate in her arm, doesn't she?
She does, unfortunately. But they'll take it out in 6 months, but she's okay.
Great stuff. Great that you're both here. Thank you for talking with us, mate. Cheers.
Rusty down there in the lane. Hello to everyone watching on our YouTube stream. A lot of Finns tuning in to see how Calais Rovanpera goes. Well, he's going quite well at the moment in these low grip conditions, as you may expect, up to P6 at the moment in the high-tech car. Car number 69 will follow his progress. We also need to say hello to one of Invercargill's favourite sons, Brendan Leach, who is watching on our YouTube stream as well. Frankly disappointing he's not here. A man who's done many a lap, grew up just down the road with his brother Damon and Barry and Marguerite, who are well known in the region. So hello to Brendan. He's watching on, and he had some feedback for drivers at turn one, basically saying that it's a challenging corner and it can bite.
It certainly is, and he's just bringing up a few memories of some GT racing of him and I here a few months ago.
Stories to tell, perhaps, Andrew Waite?
The New Zealand Endurance Championship and Lambo GT3s. We had a nice little battle in the rain around here, so certainly bringing up some good memories. So glad to see Brendan tuning in.
So just under 9 minutes to go. There is a cut-off point for the session, so the maximum amount of red flag time has been allocated already in the session, so the clock is now running down, and they're going to have to make every lap count. And everyone's got a lap time in the bank for the most part. So Jin Nakamura at a 105.1, down to Yevon David in 13th at a 9.1. The next 5 cars had only completed an outlap and once passed the line before the red flag came out. So Ricardo Baptista and Trevor Latourette, and among others, including, critically, Louis Sharp, championship contender, and Zach Schooler, who has been a race winner this season so far. They're in 17th and 18th position. So Those two, I was going to say they need to make hay while the sun shines. They just need to make hay, basically, down there. They need to get themselves up the grid.
So this is starting to get to a point now with the 2 red flags as quickly as they've happened that you just need to get out there now and get on with it as soon as you possibly can. Lap 1, straight into it. But the problem with that, again, is that's going to breed even more red flags because there's a higher chance of something happening. But all of a sudden you go, right, okay, we're quite far into the session now. I haven't really had a chance to put a lap down, so I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing another off somewhere along the way, as every driver will be wanting to be on it from lap 1 to bank a lap.
15 seconds to go. Nolan Alla, who is 5th at the moment, will not take any further part in the session, and the same can be said for Theo McLaughlin, who's 4th. So right now they're a long way up the order based on the 1 lap time that they've banked so far. Here we go again. Clock winds down in CTFROT qualifying 1 to set the grid for race 1 this afternoon. How will this one play out? Can they get through a formation lap? Can they get a banker lap time in? It is going to be critical to do so and to get through this next couple of minutes to get a lap time. And what we could see is an unpredictable grid for race 1 this afternoon. So Jin Nakamura out early. He's going to get relatively clear racetrack. Lots of spray through turn 1. We wait for everyone to successfully navigate that and then find themselves a clear bit of racetrack. 16 of the 18 cars. We are down 1 this weekend. The Aussie James Wharton not running this weekend on account of some FIA Formula 3 commitments in Europe. He will be back for the Grand Prix next weekend at Highlands Motorsport Park. So how do you get yourself set, Andrew Waite, now that you've had this interrupted session? You've only had 3 laps. You've had an out lap. You might have had 1 push lap. You don't know what the grip level's like. How are you approaching this right now?
Right now, to be honest, it's just get a lap in. Yes, you want to find a gap as much as you can, but at least try and just get something ready for yourselves. As you can see there, Slater, I think it was, he was just setting himself up with a little bit of a gap out of the last corner, but that gives you a fair idea of the amount of spray that is coming off these cars as they start heading down towards turn 1. This is where the danger area has been. Is so easy to lose the rear of the car on the way. And then we got one off again.
Oh, it's Jin Nakamura, who's currently quickest. They'll let the field go through and see if he can extricate himself, but as a betting man, they'd say no. And we've gone red flag again. There was a lot of racing going down there. It is qualifying. There was a lot of side-by-side stuff. I'm a little bit surprised there wasn't more energy being put into just finding yourself your own little bit of racetrack. I know it's a short lap. You've got that out lap to find yourself some ground. Surprising they were all running so close together. And that will be the session.
So, yeah, that shows how difficult these conditions are, with Jin obviously out in front there. That's one unfortunate way to end this session, and you kind of get the feeling that if it wasn't Jin, it was going to be somebody else over that lap there. Obviously, these conditions very trying, very frustrating for guys like Ryan Wood, who didn't quite get a proper lap in there as well.
So Jin Nakamura, Ernesto Rivera second, Freddie Slater in 3rd position at the moment. We're waiting on news from Motorsport New Zealand Race Control about the regulations surrounding whether you might lose your fastest lap for bringing out the red flag and some of the other things around that. There'll be some investigating going on before race 1. The big story out of this, assuming the grid stands, is that Louis Sharp and Zach Schooler are 17th and 18th position on the road, on the grid. So they are right at the back of the field. 2 title contenders. Louis Sharp is 3rd in the championship, and Zach Schooler currently 7th position with a couple of race wins to his credit. So they are right at the back of the field.
Yeah, that is, we've seen this whole championship so far, haven't we? Just how shaken up the grid is with the way that the new format's working. So it's just making it so hard for these guys. But that's what, at the end of the day, the cream always rises, doesn't it, Richard? The best drivers always end up at the top over a race weekend. But yeah, very trying conditions for these guys.
So provisionally, Jin Nakamura quickest in front of Ernesto Rivera, who has been a little standout over the last couple of rounds. He finished second in race number 2 last weekend at Topor and had a top 10 finish in all 4 races there off the back of a podium finish in race 3 at Hampton Downs. So he sits in 8th position in the championship for M2 competition, who are looking for a remarkable 9th consecutive CTFROT, what was TRS Championship. They have been the drivers on the team to beat in this category for a long time, and they currently lead Hi-Tech and M-Tech in the top 3. So 3 different teams represented, 5 different winners, 9 podium finishes. 18 of the 19 drivers to score points so far this season have finished inside the top 10 in a race so far this season. So Nakamura, Rivera, Slater. And we're waiting for confirmation from Motorsport New Zealand Race Control, but the session will not resume. We can confirm that. And at Teretonga, they have opened the racetrack, so spectators and officials and fans can drive their cars or walk across the circuit to get to the infield.
So as we get confirmation as well, so Jin gets to keep his fastest lap, but he will get a 3 grid place penalty for causing the red flag. So obviously he'll be dropped back a couple of positions, which will unprovisionally at the moment, or provisionally should I say, Rivera, he will be at the top. And we saw he was quick as well at the last round on the wet, so he's obviously got some pace, got some great car control under him as well. And Freddie Slater there, he'll be provisionally off the front row as well. Phil McLaughlin, same thing for him. He obviously came off at turn 1, so he'll be getting that grid place penalty as well.
And Nolan Alla, who was the first red flag in the session, who's 5th. So 3 drivers in the top 6 provisionally staring down the barrel of being down. What about at the other end of the grid, though? Massive for Louis Sharp and Zach Schooler. Title contenders, race-winning contenders. They are buried in 17th and 18th position.
Yeah, and it's just going to be damage control from there for those guys. Is with the way this weather's looking at the moment, it's looking like it is most likely going to stay at least wet for the next race. So managing that is super, super important. But you know, silver lining of it, wet conditions, sometimes it's easier to make up positions if you're in the right spots. So it's certainly going to be an important one for those guys.
Confirmation from Toyota Gazoo Racing New Zealand that Jin Nakamura will be the pole position winner for round 3 of the championship. His first pole in CTFROT, but it will be a 3 grid position penalty for bringing out the red flag. So he'll start race 1 on the 2nd row of the grid, but nevertheless, it's his first pole position and the first for Hi-Tech as well since joining the championship. So he made the most of it in the end. He'll still get penalised, but he was the one that prevailed in a really challenging and interrupted qualifying session.
To be honest, it was brewing anyway, wasn't it, for Jin? He's been fast all season, and he's obviously got the pole position here. If it wasn't going to happen for Hi-Tech here today, I feel like it was going to be at some point. So great job by them.
All right, Allied Petroleum victory lane, and we're going to hear from our top 3 from qualifying for Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania. And here's Rusty.
Richard, thank you. Not all of them here at the moment, as you'd expect, but Ernesto Rivera is crazy conditions. What was that like?
Yeah, we only got to do a push lap, and yeah, a lot of red flags, super tricky conditions. Visibility was 0, so yeah, it was a bit of luck, I think, for everyone to get a clean lap, and we did get a clean lap, so that was good.
When you get the interruptions, the red flags like that, and you have to sort of reset and go again, how difficult is that?
Yeah, we just try like to focus again and go full push again for the first push after the red flag, because you know you can only have one chance and you have to take it. So yeah.
Brave stuff. Well done.
Thank you.
There you go. Let's go to Freddie Slater. Third, thank you. You're going to even go offer me the umbrella. That's very kind of you. We spoke with you in the break there in qualifying. Man, you had to kind of lay it on the line, didn't you?
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of hope they don't count that as a session, to be honest, because no one really got to finish a lap properly. So I'll be surprised if they keep that as a result. But yeah, you know, like I said, it was good fun, but also it was just not impossible to finish a lap with the amount of red flags we had. So yeah, we'll see what comes of it later.
Obviously, you've had a couple of days with some dry running, some heavy wet conditions here. Depending upon what we have for racing this afternoon, if it's like this or close to this, do you feel like it's a good car underneath you?
The car's good. The car feels really good underneath me. It's just honestly, there's too much rain for the racing. You know, with the 20 cars on track on such a small track, it's just going to be lethal. And yeah, obviously safety comes first at the end of the day. So we definitely need to be smart on what we do, but the car feels good.
Thanks for chatting with us, Freddie.
Thank you.
All right, we will, I think, maybe just head back to commentary briefly. Jin's not here at the moment, obviously, with the recovery happening, and we'll come back to you from a presentation standpoint shortly.
Thanks, Rusty. Appreciate that. We'll wait for Jin Nakamura to get down there so he can be formally presented with his first pole position in Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania here at Teretonga. Nakamura first for High-Tech, then Ernesto Rivera, who will start race one from pole position alongside Freddie Slater. Massive opportunity for the Brit off what will be the front row of the grid. Theo McLaughlin and Nolan Alla both will get 3 group position penalties for bringing out the red flag. Kalle Rovanperä is going to start from the second row of the grid. That is massive. Kanato Lee and Jack Taylor next. Another really strong qualifying performance from him. Then Cooper Shipman. The championship leader, Ugo Chukwu, out of 12th. Then it's Yevon David, Ricardo Baptista, Trevor Latourette, his best qualifying performance. Yuampu Chue, Louis Sharp and Zach Schooler. Big names at the back, but they really didn't get a lap in properly in that session. So an interrupted qualifying session here at Teretonga for Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania. And we're waiting for Jin Nakamura to make his way to Allied Petroleum Victory Lane to receive the trophy for pole position. I mean, I could ask you the question, Andrew Wade, of how does this play out this afternoon, but there's really not much point, is there? Because it's almost impossible to predict.
It's been like the championship all year, hasn't it? Unpredictable. It's certainly been quite a spectacle for us as we watch it all unfold. And yeah, there was a difficult qualifying for everybody.
We've talked all year about opportunity, and there's been a lot of it in this championship, and grasping that will be key, Rusty, as we hear from our pole sitter for round 3.
Why don't we get the official presentation underway for the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy, qualifying one of the weekend, to be delivered by Josh Greenland, category manager for CTFROT. There it is to Jin Nakamura, who is with us now. Quick chance for a photo underneath the umbrella in these trying conditions. And Jin, as you can see, the race suit's got some little bit of mud and dirt on it. That was a tough one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm a bit embarrassing for this, but yeah, it was quite tough condition for everyone. Raining so hard, and track was quite ready. So yeah, I was quite scary.
I mean, getting that time in these conditions, Jin, was there a little place that you found something?
Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't find anything. Just yeah, my first lap was quite safe. Then and I was overtaking someone as well. Yeah, just a bit lucky.
Okay, well, congratulations, you got the trophy. Well done.
Thank you.
There you go. We know, as we've heard from commentary there, Jin Nakamura has taken the pole position trophy. Obviously, there's some reviews from Motorsport New Zealand Race Control in relation to red flags, who may have triggered those and so on. That may adjust, obviously, the grid, as Richard, our commentator, has detailed there. We're going to grab a break on our YouTube coverage. Don't forget, we are back at 12:45 New Zealand time. A massive afternoon of motorsport coming your way as a part of the Ascot Park Hotel, Teretonga International, headlined by CTFROT, and a whole lot more. We'll catch you then.